Well, I hadn't intended to do a video, but I had to come out here. I got another manual in the mail for early, like 67 two-stroke motorcycles, up into like 72, I think. But it's one of these that covers a whole lot of them. And it does cover that little Harley, and it does cover, other, that scooter. And the main thing I wanted about this one, yeah, it covers, well, quite a ways back, actually. But two strokes have been around quite a while. But it covers the Yamaha DT1, and I've got a couple of them that I want to put together and make one bike out of them. So I'm always looking for manuals. Okay, we're going to talk about something. Well, first I should say, we did figure out that emblem on that little Harley. Interesting. I had it. It seemed familiar, but it is, like I said, the emblem on a dollar bill. That eye and the pyramid, that all-seeing eye. But somebody had mentioned Then Came Bronson, that show, that series that used to be on, which was a great series back in like 69. And on that guy's tank, on his motorcycle, he had an old 900 Sportster, was that emblem. So, it should have dawned on me sooner. There was something I couldn't quite place it, and that was the deal. As soon as he said it, yeah. And if you look up Then Came Bronson, you'll see the picture of the tank, with that all-seeing eye on it. So that's a mystery solved. But I was going to talk about that Joe Biden going over to Ukraine. It amazes me. Because my first thought, I see this, Bagman in action. Going over to get the kickback, the 10% for the big guy. But I don't understand how he is even allowed to be anywhere near anything to do with Ukraine. Because at the very least, he's compromised. Horribly compromised, at the very least. But in all actuality, he's probably very complicit in all of these shenanigans that went on there. And how you can have a president making choices on this, it baffles me, honestly. That all that stuff was going down way back in 2014. I mean, even he was pissing around over there then, setting up all this crap. All the deals that him and his kid were making, they have all that information. I mean, at one time, Trump was trying to get them to give up some of that information. But they wouldn't do it because, they got it, and that's something that you could certainly blackmail him with. Because if they were to actually give out what they know, what they have evidence of that went down at that time, he would be screwed. He would be screwed right now. He's going to be screwed down the road because eventually this is all going to come back to him. But in the meantime, we're allowing him to continue making decisions on this, in theory making decisions, but even if he isn't making the decisions, he is responsible for what's happening. How can you allow that to continue? It's a baffle to me. Woodpecker on a stovepipe. The they love to, this time of year, woodpeckers are setting out their territory. And the louder you can hammer, the bigger your territory is. You sound real threatening. So if they can find a stovepipe or something that's got a good sound to it, they'll bang away on it. And that's what he was doing. A lot of things, the area is really coming to life of late. We got a pouring rain again last night. It's been a lot of rain, and we've got a lot more rain. So things are really greening up, which is good. And I was out in the garden just now and looked, and I had planted carrots, which can be really slow to come, and I had planted seed onions, the bunching onions. They can be tricky too, because you can't plant either one of them very deep, and if they're too shallow, they don't have enough moisture and they won't germinate. But we've had moisture, so I think I got a good catch on both of them things, and I think I got radishes up. I got stuff happening out there, which is good. But I don't know why, this whole thing with Biden, how in the world, with all of the corruption involved in this, how people actually allow this to go on. Well, I suppose maybe part of the deal is that you can't, with the Ministry of Truth, you're not allowed to say anything about it. They really want to clamp down on any speech that they don't agree with. But I think it's kind of interesting. I have no use for Twitter at all. And I really have no use for Elon Musk at all either. I mean, he's into stuff that I guess maybe I used to be kind of into, but I lost interest in, but he's really into it. This science fiction-y sort of stuff. The future, today. I'm really not interested in that now. But the idea of him buying Twitter has just freaked these liberals out. And the more they freak out, the more they badmouth him, the ornerier he's going to be, and he's got enough money to be ornery back. So there'll be repercussions of the stuff that they say now. So that'll be interesting. If that actually gets to be a platform where people dare to speak their mind, I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to come out that they don't want to come out. So that's a good sign. Well, I got things to do. It quit raining, so I'm thinking maybe wash clothes, but I think tomorrow we got sun and wind. And then we got like 4 or 5 more days of rain. But maybe I can get this done. Get started today, get them dry by tomorrow night. Might work. But I don't know why people, that it doesn't dawn on them that Biden is horribly compromised. That puzzles me. Because that should alarm you right away. Because believe me, they got to have the goods on him. They'd be fooled, when you're making deals like they were making way back when he was still vice president. When you're cooking up all them deals, boy, you would have recordings and copies of paperwork. You would have stuff that would implicate him to no end, and now would be the time to use it. They could nail him anytime they want to if he doesn't keep pouring in money and weapons. They could just hint a little bit what they might bring up. But I think at the moment they're just busy, hoarding up, getting as much money siphoned off of this deal as they can, and then it's all going to fall apart. But and he'll probably get impeached in the end. I don't know how he could possibly not get impeached. I mean, after the midterms, I would think that would be first thing on the agenda. I don't know how you're going to get around that. You know, what that should have been done a long time ago. Well, he should have never been elected, but my God, you know, they continue to let this run, pushing us into a world war just to protect his reputation, which he really doesn't have. You know, they got to go down. And the sooner the better. I mean, it's probably too late already, but they got to pay for that. You can't just let that slide. And hopefully, the world will survive long enough to have the opportunity to make them pay. But damn, you got to pay. You can't let something like that go like that. That's just ridiculous. Well, like I say, we'll see. I really hate the thought of having to even wait until the midterms. I mean, because we got a lot of shit going on now. The whole economy is falling apart, and we're on the verge of a world war. And you don't want to take the time and the trouble to really push for an impeachment because, my God, we need that. We need that bad. It would maybe be the one thing that could save us now. Well, if we just finally get up and croak, that would be a good thing. You know, you hate to watch somebody dead, but by God, the world needs him to be gone one way or another. If you can't impeach him, you better just plain die. You know, I don't know how much would change because, like I say, he isn't really making decisions now. But if you get rid of him, maybe you could start pecking away at the rest of the crew because they all got to go down. I hope we get a chance to see that happen.